De regreso aquí en Auto 060 y como prometimos un segmento muy interesante hablando de la Hyundai Tucson Fuel Cell, and we're going to switch back to English because now we're going to talk Tim Bush, who is one of the first owner, as I understand, of the new Hyundai Tucson with a hydrogen fuel cell. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent, thank you very much. So tell us about it. Are you the first owner of this kind of vehicle here in the United States?
Yeah, so I'm the first owner of a mass-produced fuel cell vehicle. There's a few out there owned by the companies and by corporations, but I'm the first regular Joe to get one. It's been pretty neat.
So tell us about it. Why did you decide to get this kind of car, which for a lot of people is kind of scary with like any new technology? I think that's still the case with electric car. But hydrogen cars is even further. There's a lot to learn, a lot to adjust, I guess, huh?
Generally it drives very much like my SUV I had before. Really the only difference being is that it's totally silent. And I guess my options for fueling stations are a little fewer, so I have to be a little more thoughtful. But otherwise, it's been perfect.
And besides that, I mean, it's like I guess we're used to like deal with gasoline, and we know there's a station. But after a while, I guess I know how long you had the car, and after a while, how long it took you to adjust to that, knowing that how long you're gonna drive and how far it can take you.
Yeah, I have about 4 stations pretty convenient to my home and work. So on generally, I just think on Mondays and Fridays before and after the weekend, I go fill up at the station by my office. Rather than just being able to drive wherever and think about it, I just have to kind of plan a little bit, but it really hasn't been a hassle at all. In fact, I'm taking it to Santa Barbara this next week, and I just took about 10 minutes to look at the stations to make sure that I could take it round trip, and looks like everything's going to be just fine.
So what's the range that you're getting with a fuel tank?
Yeah, so a tank of hydrogen will get the car about 265 miles.
Oh, that's pretty much like a gas car. I mean, like...
Yeah, so I drive maybe 300 miles a week, so I fill up just as I said, Mondays and Fridays.
And how's the process? I know that Hyundai, it's including the cost of the hydrogen, right, in the lease of these vehicles. Is that right?
Yes. It made it a pretty easy decision for me. I was making a car payment on another SUV before, and once I crunched the numbers to realize that I'm paying $500 a month for the vehicle, including all of my fuel and maintenance cost. Before I was spending $350 to $400 a month on fuel. It makes the net cost of the car less than $100 a month, which is a really good deal for me.
Yeah, not bad. So besides the cool technology and all that, I know like you are now an agent for State Farm, right? But before that, you have a pretty active life. You were a lifeguard in Huntington Beach.
So, yeah, I worked as a Huntington Beach lifeguard for 15 years every summer, and now I'm a State Farm agent in Newport Beach. And one of the things about driving a car like this is I get to be innovative to all my clients and talk to them about insuring these vehicles, that State Farm's all ready to do it, and that we're kind of on the cutting edge of these technologies when we talk about insuring these cars. I've actually already written insurance on another one that was leased.
Yeah. So I mean, these are completely separate things, right? You bought the car on your own, and like you work as a State Farm agent. It's separate, but again, this is another factor that people have to think about. Is any different in the insurance for these kind of cars?
It's just not every company is prepared to insure these vehicles yet. They're not necessarily in their systems or know how or what they are. So State Farm, I leased it on my own, but State Farm happened to be one of the companies that was on the edge of the technology, knowing these were coming and all ready to insure them. And at the end of the day, it's like insuring any other vehicle. It's a very similar price point.
But when you were saying these kind of vehicles are not in the systems of some other insurance agencies, what does that mean? I mean, like the current model is not, they're not covering the technology, or what?
From what I I understand, this isn't totally my area of expertise. From what I understand, not every company has the make and model of a vehicle in their systems to quote and write insurance on. From my understanding, some other companies aren't prepared to tell me about a fuel cell vehicle from Hyundai. The other insurance companies may say, "Oh, I don't know, I don't have that one in my system yet."
Oh, okay. It's just like the particular model that it can. Okay, but it doesn't have anything to do with the technology or anything like that.
I can't speak for other insurance companies.
No, of course, yeah, I know. But in general, it wouldn't. I mean, like if State Farm, there's a new car. If something else comes new, it's not because of that technology. It's just because you don't have it in the.
It's just because it might not be in the system.
Oh, okay. So before we went on the air, you were talking about how because I drove the car at the LA Auto Show last November, but I didn't have the chance to go through the whole process of refueling. Can you explain that a little bit? How easy or complicated that is?
Yeah, it's if you can pump gasoline currently, you can figure out how to pump the hydrogen into the tank. The stations that we've been to are very, very similar to classic gasoline stations. It's not a gas. It's not a liquid as gasoline is. It's a compressed gas. So you just put it on as you were putting in the handle of a gasoline, and you clip it on, and that creates a seal. And it takes maybe 10 minutes to fill up the tank. It's very, very similar to pumping gasoline.
Yeah, and I guess when you went to the dealership to pick up the cars, the folks at Hyundai gave you, I guess, a little training, even though it doesn't sound that complicated?
It's not very complicated, but they've taken me out and trained me at two of the different facilities to show me how to pump the gasoline.
Yeah. So yeah. So how would you recommend this car for other people? I mean, like it's kind of difficult when you don't know and you don't have experience like refueling like this and like getting limited to the range and all that. I mean, as a regular driver, what's your impression so far?
As a regular driver, I've never owned an electric car or driven an electric car before. It's really, really neat. When you press on the gas, the power is nearly instantaneous, which seems way quicker off the line than my gasoline car did. And really, I don't have any drawbacks from it. I guess if you wanted to take it on a cross-country road trip, it's not ready for that yet, just because we don't have the stations. But otherwise, I'm not really sacrificing anything driving this new car. All I get is the advantages of the free fuel and doing something great for our environment.
Yeah, and not many people do cross-country trips anymore, right? I mean, there's planes for that, I guess. So, any other thoughts about the car and the other experience? What are people's reactions when you go? You said you're using it almost like a training, not a training tool, but like something to show your clients to. What's been the reaction of people? Are they surprised?
Yeah, I think as a State Farm agent and writing auto insurance for people on a daily basis, talking to them about the new technologies that are out there and available to them, most people want to hear about it. I think a lot of people are tired of paying $4 and $4+ gas prices here in LA and Orange County. It's very expensive, and when they can find out there's an alternative that's A, good for the environment, and B, at this point, cost me nothing, that's pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, especially that last part, I guess.
Yeah.
And I understand also that you have a pretty special passenger that sometimes goes on your trips with you. Your dog?
My dog? Yeah, my dog, he's a 95-pound Mastiff Lab mix who sits in the back of the car. He sits in the trunk area with our daughter sitting in the middle seat and me and my wife up front. As I said, we're taking it on a road trip this weekend, so I'm pretty excited.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's pretty interesting to hear about this kind of, real people driving these latest technology cars. And I don't know, what's the future? I mean, that's the question that I always ask, because, this thing is a reality, but, it's hard to imagine what's going to happen in 5-10 years, no?
No, I agree with you. I couldn't say that I know, because it's not...
I don't think anybody knows.
Our companies, but my thought is that our reliance on foreign fossil fuels like gasoline will continue to decrease, and people are going to be looking for alternatives, A, because of the cost of gasoline, and B, because it's what's good for the environment. So I think some sort of technology along these lines will take over. My guess is this is a pretty good one.
Yeah. So you have that car, I guess.
If I'm driving a 200-mile trip this weekend, I can stop, fill up my tank, and keep driving, which is totally different compared to driving one of the pure electric cars where you got to stop for 6 hours and charge it.
Excellent. Well, so you lease the car, is like a 3-year lease or what? How many months?
Yeah, it's a 36 months, so 3-year lease.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of fun trips in the next month. So, thank you for taking the time and sharing the information. Is there any website or anything that our audience can look for you and your work?
Yeah, Javier, you can check me out at timbushagent.com or check out Tim Bush State Farm Agent on Facebook. 2 great places to interact with me.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tim, and we'll talk soon, hopefully.
Thanks, Javier. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye. Pues ahí tienen la experiencia del dueño de una Hyundai Tucson con celdas de hidrógeno manejando el auto, y como pudieron escuchar, no hay ninguna diferencia, solamente hay que ajustar un poco a la hora de planear el viaje y saber dónde se va a recargar el hidrógeno. Esto es Auto 060, yo soy Javier Mota y ya regresamos con más aquí en Cristina Radio Network.
Este programa fue una producción de National Latino Broadcasting.